10 and 26. Lenore's JT and Dylan.
Dylan
Ah,
can't go to draft.
yeah, that's right. Because Dylan's going to be a sophomore.
Yeah, Dylan can't go to the draft till 27.
Yeah,
Neither can Josiah Thompson.
yeah. Josiah's. Yeah. Huh. I was trying to figure out who JT is. I'm like, wait a minute.
Oh, you were trying to figure out who it was?
Yeah, I was like, it's like JT.
Definitely had to be Josiah.
Yeah, Josiah. Yeah. All right. Check your stream, Q. Are we up on the X app, Twitter?
Yes.
We are up over there. Okay. All right, very good. Looks like we are up on all platforms. So let's do this thing in five, four, three, two, and one. What is up, everybody? Thank you for joining us here on the Welcome On Podcast. I'm your host, Famously Garnet, and I'm joined by my co-host Q.
What it do, y'all? What it do?
And in today's episode, we are breaking down a lot that has happened over the weekend, over the beginning of the week. A lot. It is a packed episode, so go ahead and get ready for this as the transfer portal in basketball has woken up. As we have seen a lot of movement there, a lot of movements. We'll talk about that. Football. We're hearing some things in football practicing. We're going to talk about some injuries that have happened. Who guys have been shut down for the spring. We'll talk about that. The women's team, their fifth Final Four in a row, and they are going to face once again for the fourth time this season the Texas Longhorns. So we're going to, obviously break down that matchup. And, hey, the baseball on the diamond, the softball, they get the first win over LSU in Baton Rouge since 1997. And then the men's team, of course, gets swept by Tennessee. So obviously, it's going to be a very packed show, so go ahead and get your popcorn, your chips, whatever you need, your drink ready, because we are about to have fun in this episode. Q, we'll go ahead and start where the fun is not where it currently is, and that is on the baseball diamond of South Carolina. They're already to a slow start against Presbyterian, and they get swept by Tennessee at home. And quite frankly, South Carolina held their own in this one. They out hit Tennessee multiple times again, as they did against Oklahoma when they hosted Oklahoma at Founders. But once again, they find ways of not getting it done, and the bullpen and everything else just comes crashing down. The starters have not been good for South Carolina, and Sunday you had to go by committee and go by the bullpen in that one, and it wasn't pretty. Unfortunately, and that was to prevent the sweep. You had Tennessee on the ropes in game two, as I was there on Saturday, and South Carolina just unfortunately lost it again and late in the later innings. What's going to happen next? I mean, you go to Starkville after this game against Presbyterian. Like I said, that is going on right now on SEC Network, I believe, and they are currently tied at 0 in the third inning. But you go to a Starkville team, Mississippi State, that is quite frankly not very good right now. And Mississippi State, they want Lamonis fired. So, Q, what are your thoughts about that?
So what I learned is this team just cannot finish games. That they cannot finish games. Oklahoma situation that happened. I believe Arkansas had happened one of the games in Arkansas as well. And Tennessee, it reared its ugly head again. And it's one of those situations where these guys just cannot close out games. Whether it's pitching, whether it's fielding, whatever the case may be, it's really, really bad. And honestly, I don't see the fight in the guys. I don't see the fight. I'm upset that we're wasting one of our best players we've ever had in Ethan Petrie. I hate we're wasting his career. I think he should have been in Omaha at least once. And granted, his freshman year we got close because we were playing Florida, but we can't get there, and it's bad, man. This is bad, and it's just pure bad baseball, and I'm not a fan of it. I'm genuinely just not a fan of the pure bad baseball, bro. This is like as I'm talking, this guy just walked. He had a 0-2 count and walked the guy. So you tell me you had four straight balls. Like what are we really doing here? Like it is to me, it's getting kind of out of hand with this team. We've switched up the lineup 150 times, and there's no better result. Now on the flip side, devil's advocate, we have played one of the toughest stretches known to man in college baseball, and it fared about remotely what we thought it would fare like. We've got a couple sweeps. We should have won the Oklahoma series, which is exactly what should have happened. 100% should have won the Oklahoma series. But now you have a chance to, in my personal opinion, show that this is not a waste of a year. So you have a chance to go out and win tonight against Presbyterian, and then you have a chance to sweep Mississippi State.
Mm-hmm.
You have a chance. Now, we'll see what happens, but you have a chance to do it. I just don't think you have the tools to win this year, but I do think it should be better than what it has been. It should be 100% better than like if you're going to struggle, at least struggle at one thing. Like be terrible at I don't know, base running. Be terrible at something. Just don't be terrible across the board. That's what we're seeing. And that's what I'm struggling with is the terrible across the board. So I really need us to get it together on that. This is some bad baseball.
Yeah, I mean it's never good when your team out hits the other and the other team has more runs on the board. I'm sorry, but we've seen that a handful of times. South Carolina just has not been that team that needed to be there when it came to hitting with guys in scoring position. They just haven't been, and it's extremely frustrating. It's extremely frustrating because a lot of people they point the fingers at Monty Lee and the approach and everything. And honestly, if you're looking at just general when it comes to hitting, South Carolina's been fine there, but for certain things, yeah, I mean, it's the runners in scoring position has not. It's been a bugaboo, honestly. It's been kryptonite for South Carolina, and they only have to find a way to get it done. And you look at this game against Mississippi State. It's a team that has struggled. Mississippi State is not a really good team right now. They're really not. And like I said, the fans they want them gone. It's a thing about it. They really want the coach gone, Lemonis. They want him out of there because Mississippi State fans, they're tired of it. They're quite frankly, they're tired of it, and I get it. You look at, Mississippi State, they won a title, a couple years back, right? And ever since then, it hasn't been pretty. And now Mississippi State is 16-12 on the season and kind of around that same boat as South Carolina, except for with Mississippi State, like I said, Lemonis is on the way out. He's on the way out. So it's a frustrating time for both teams, and we're going to really find out who is who in this matchup. It's quite simple. It's quite simple because Mississippi State also has a serious loss to Oklahoma. I believe they got swept by LSU, and I believe they were also swept by Texas, if I'm not mistaken. So a lot of frustrations, right? A lot of frustrations by both squads. So we're going to find out really, who South Carolina is, like I said, as they right now they're playing, like I said, Presbyterian. They were in the third inning and it's still scoreless. And, it's an unfortunate start there. So we'll see how that game ends. Moving on to the other side of the diamond, though, man, softball. Like I said, LSU first win in Baton Rouge since 1997. And the way they did it is really spectacular, honestly, because you look, LSU beat South Carolina single-handedly. The way they needed to on Friday. The Saturday game gets rained out because of the storms that came through, right? And then Sunday, South Carolina is trailing. South Carolina is trailing in this one, late innings. They came back, won, took them in extras, right? Took them in extras, won there. And then the third game, they took care of business. They absolutely took care of business. So it is a team that has seen some struggles, right? They have seen some struggles, but this is the strongest start we've seen from this softball team in a long time, a very long time. So what Coach Ashley continues to do in South Carolina is tremendous. It's absolutely tremendous, the things that she's doing right now.
No, I agree with that. Ashley has done a phenomenal job, in my personal opinion. I'm a huge fan of how she's gone about it. I just felt like she's done an extraordinary job. She's infused her culture in there. She has brought her players that she believes in. Because a lot of these girls are from Charlotte. Like a lot of these girls are like good players she had in Charlotte. Yeah. And I got to give it to Ray. Ray did a really good job bringing her in. That was a really good hire. Like this is going to be one of the strongest finishes we've had in a long time if everything goes well. So I just think we have to rally behind her, I think the more you rally behind her, the more you you will see, in my personal opinion, that program growing.
Yeah.
And they're going to, that goes back to what we talked about before. The only program I see not going in the right direction right now, honestly, is baseball.
Mm-hmm.
It's really the only program I see right now just, just not trending where it needs to trend. And for whatever reason, we're struggling with it. I don't know why, because I do feel like we should be in a better predicament than we are. But I mean, here we
Right.
are.
I think the reason where South Carolina is right now in baseball, and I've said it to a few fans, and I'll continue to say it. It's not so much on Manerius; it's more it's just what Kingston left us with. You know, that is a guy that loved recruiting guys that were really destined to be MLB guys. Right? South Carolina lost a lot of guys over the years to the MLB draft, and it was something where South Carolina just needed to hone in more on, and they just simply didn't do it for
Correct.
whatever reason. It's just something that they just weren't good at recruiting when it came down to that kind of thing. You knew they were going, right? You knew that name was going to be called, but for whatever reason, we kept, playing the game. When our NIL is not the strongest in baseball and all these other things, all these other factors, and it's very head scratching, right? But so where we're at right now, I mean, unfortunately it's a product of what we had before, and it's Mark Kingston.
Yep.
I think it's simple. I've said it many times this season. South Carolina simply does not have what it takes to pitch against the SEC.
Yep.
They
And
just
I agree
don't.
with that.
They just don't. And it's what we've been left with, unfortunately. You ask Paul Maneri to put a group together as quick as you can, but not giving him much support on the way of doing it. Guys, let's call spade a spade. I mean, it's reality. I understand you guys are upset about the way this starts, and I understand that you guys think Paul's not the answer. And I'm not saying he is,
Right.
but we can't pin all this on Paul right now. That's just not fair to him, and
It's a
it's just
mixture of
it's
things,
not
in my
fair.
opinion. It's a
It
mixture of
absolutely
things.
is. It absolutely is. So obviously, let's get off that subject as Presbyterian, I believe, just scored a run. So
Hmm.
yeah, they did. So South Carolina Trails in the third inning, as you're listening live, 1-0 to Presbyterian
Yeah.
with runners on the corners, one out. So not great start at Founders tonight. So hopefully that game ends well. We will find out. Now moving on to the hardwood. We're gonna move on to the hardwood next, and let's go ahead and talk about South Carolina's win over Duke in Birmingham in the Elite Eight. And I tell you what, that was a game again, a very very close one. Duke, they put everything on South Carolina in this game. The defensive matchup, everything that they put together, the game plan was absolutely brilliant. There were calls that were called against both teams traveling. I've never seen so many traveling calls in a game. Malaysia Fulwiley at one point was called for 3 or 4 traveling calls at one point. I mean, absolutely insane. And like I said, it was going both ways. They were called traveling on both ways. I can't say that, the officials were bad in this one. They weren't. Yeah, they really weren't. They were actually pretty solid, honestly. It just came down to South Carolina could not match up with a lot of things that went on in this game, and give it to Duke. Give them props the way the way that their game plan was in this one, because they came out swinging at South Carolina. But ultimately, Gamecocks win 54-50.
I think it was more just our shots have not been good recently. And
No,
Don's
they
alluded
haven't.
to this, and you can see with some of the shots we were taking, some of the things we've done, I just do not think we've taken really good shots. And that's the issue.
Mm.
That is the issue. You have to take good shots. You have to be able to make those shots. You have to be able to do those things. We did not shoot well. We have not shot well these past few games, but we still found a way to, get the win. And that's what
Sure.
matters. In my personal opinion, that's where I look at it. How does the game look? Are we getting the wins? What does that look like? And that's what's going on. We need the wins, and that's what we're doing. So
Yeah.
you're on to the Final Four now. You're going to play Texas for the fourth time, as we stated before. The last time you played Texas was probably the best time I feel like you played Texas. It wasn't even about how much you won by. It was about how you played Madison Booker. You're going to have to do that switches. You're going to switch. You're going to have to do those things. You're going to have to watch your inside. You're going to have to do a lot of different things. And in my opinion, that's where it's going to come down to. What are we going to do when it comes to this game? How are we going to play? We play ball the right way, we're gonna be all right. If we play South Carolina way, we'll get to the national championship game. But it's up to us to get to that point. Friday's gonna be, I want to see how we play and what we do. So let's go. Let's get the ball rolling.
Yeah, I can definitely agree on that. The shots were definitely not falling against Duke, and they really haven't been falling in the last couple matchups, honestly. And
Hmm.
look, I love and we love Malaysia Fulwiley. We love her. I
803.
just I feel like 803, but I feel like in this one in this particular last matchup against Duke, it just seemed like she was trying to do too much at points, and I get it. You want to be that you have that opportunity to come into the game early, right? You
Hmm.
want to show what you can do, and I have no problem with that. I feel like she was doing a little too much, but that's a learning moment. It happens, right? She's still learning. She's going to be fine. But I will say this: Raven Johnson, her defensive efforts the last two games, I think people need to stop questioning why she's on the roster. I don't know why anybody wants to question in general her shot taking ability or not, her shot making ability or not. Just her defense
Hmm.
was fantastic.
No, I just think it was one of those things you needed your seniors to lead you, and that's exactly what they
Mm-hmm.
did. You need your upperclassmen to lead you, and that's what happened. And that's the beauty of what's going on because you were able to get the win because of your seniors. Your
Yep.
seniors were the reason you were able to get that win.
Yep.
So I'm
And
happy
it's
with it.
yeah.
I'm happy
Yeah.
with it. I'm pleased with what's going on with that. I am ecstatic and I'm ready for it. I'm ready for the Texas matchup. I think
It's going to be good.
I think it's time because once again, there's a lot of experience on that team that's been there. There's
Mm-hmm.
people in there that's been there 4 times in a row. So there's a lot of experience there. So let's see, let's let that experience take over because Texas hasn't been there in a long time. It's been a long time since
No,
Texas has been there. So
no, it's been a while.
that's gonna be a whole different ball game for Texas. Whole different stage.
Yep. Yep. And Friday night, 7 o'clock. That's the time of the tip. 7 o'clock at night on Friday, as
Hmm.
the Gamecocks take on Texas for the fourth time. So strap in with that. It's gonna be a good matchup. It's gonna be a really really good matchup, and we're gonna move on to transfer portal, right, with South Carolina basketball. And look, I was, like I said, in the at the game on Saturday, as Trace Eaglestaff was visiting. Actually, Trace Eaglestaff was visiting Columbia this past weekend, and as we all know, he is currently signed with South Carolina. He signed with South Carolina today on Monday. If you're listening at the Welcome H Pod on Apple, Spotify on Tuesday. But like I said, he signed on Monday, but he was there, like I said, at Founders Park on Saturday for his visit. South Carolina at the time was beating Tennessee, and it was very, very loud. And it was a good atmosphere to show up. Show him. Lamont was able to show how these fans truly are in a different setting. And I talked to a couple of the staff, members, and they're talking about, hey man, Trayson is enjoying his visit. And Trayson came up and he told me and told us he was enjoying his visit, having a great time. There were fans coming up to him that they knew that he was there, thankfully, and they said, we want you to come to South Carolina. So that was great, because I don't believe that the announcement was really publicized as much as it was with Nick Pringle when he came to the baseball game last year. So being able to see that was awesome. The staffing remains, highly optimistic though. There's some more spots in this portal they're going to hit. As obviously with Trace and Eagle staff, Creased as well, also signed with South Carolina, the
Hmm.
former four-star out of Providence, big guy, big 7-footer if I'm not mistaken, 7-footer, joining the squad. I say don't look at the stats, the size that makes a huge difference. Makes a huge difference, and I think South Carolina is going to get more out of him than what Providence was able to. And then finally, a familiar name that Q, he has his reservations about, and that's fine. Of course, that's fine. That's why we all have our opinions and whatnot. But Michi Johnson, Michi Johnson does indeed come back to South Carolina after his stint at his very very short and quiet stint at Ohio State. I know Q, you're not you feel some type of way about it. I get it. I do. I get it. On the surface and everything, I understand. I
I, I
do.
I think so. A lot of people have asked, and I'll address it. A lot of people have asked, why do I feel the way I feel? He, it was the disrespect that was shown when leaving. If everyone remembers, a lot of bad things was said about South Carolina when he left. Keeping in mind, this fan base embraced him like crazy,
Sure.
and Lamont gave him the opportunity of a lifetime. But once again, in Lamont, I trust. So if Lamont signed off on it, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I am huge on Eagle. I'm huge on Christ, bro.
Mm.
I'm huge on both of those guys. I've been very outspoken about how I feel about both those things, and especially when I think everything comes down to coaching. If you have the right coach and you put a kid in the right system with the right coach, things change a lot, a whole lot. And so I'm intrigued to see how that part plays out. I think he has the capacity to become a starter. I think it takes the coaching and it takes the effort and everything for him to be in that role. But if he's able to get in that role, I think things change a lot too. Now, a couple more spots are left on the team. Me personally, I'm looking for a high major point guard and a high major center. I get those two things. I think this team is exactly where it needs to be. I think it's a team that can get right back to where they need to go.
Yeah.
Some things still have to go. I think, I want to see if CMB comes back. And these are 1-2 spots pending CMB comes back. This is pending, if there's any other people that leave for the portal. I don't think there is. I know there's been swirls and rumors about certain players. I haven't heard that they're leaving. I've heard things have been looking pretty good. So I say let's see. So, but we have tools there. We do. We have a lot of tools there. I'm intrigued to see where we finish out the portal. If we can get two more major guys, I think we're hitting where we need to hit at. We just need more. We just need two more major guys.
And I believe we can get that, like I said, and obviously, Q, we know about the NIL. Obviously, the big difference where South Carolina has from this year to last year, and Carrie, and some of the staff, like I said, when we talked on Saturday, they harped on that. They talked about that difference not having the capability of having what they have this year because they were handicapped coming into last season. They simply were.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have everybody all the way up here, how do you think we're really going to finish? Especially when you're down a guy like Miles Studi, which, by the way, he's back. We don't know the full, we don't know the full 411 on how he's back. We don't know if he was granted a waiver or not. We don't know, but he said he is coming back, and also that's something the staff confirmed as well. So in some kind of way, he's back. So Miles Studi, you get a healthy shooter like Miles Studi back, which it makes a difference, man. He was the difference maker against Clemson this past season, so it's all about things. And like I said, Miles not having them made a difference not having them last year in a bunch of games. So, hey,
yeah,
we're getting it. We're getting it. And names are still coming out to this day. Right now, Monday, another big name just came out of the portal, and it's continuing to happen. Right, this continues to happen.
And we don't know. I'll go ahead and let y'all know. We have no earthly idea how Jamari Thomas is in the portal, but he's in the portal. So I mean, good luck to him. I don't know how it's going to get a waiver. I don't know what the situation will be, but good luck and Godspeed to him. So we'll see what happens there.
Look, man, like that news when Jamie Shaw tagged me in the post, I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like I'm thinking like a Jamari Thomas, is getting prepared for the NFL draft or something like that. I'm like, that news actually might not shock me as much as saying like, hey, I'm getting ready to hit the portal. Or I'm entering the portal. Like, what are you talking about? You don't have a COVID year. You played all 4 years. You don't have a waiver.
I don't know.
You didn't have any health issues.
Who knows?
I don't know. And as far as university says, there's no shot of entering the portal because there's no opportunity for you there. You're done.
Telling.
Your time's up.
Ain't no telling.
I don't get it, man. I don't get it. But look, big gets for South Carolina, man, with Eagle staff. That's a big guy we've talked about. And, you beat the likes of Alabama, Gonzaga, Kentucky, teams like that for his talents. And they all wanted him,
Yeah.
especially that Nate Oates wanted him after watching, him drop 40 plus points against Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, why wouldn't you want that on your team? So we know that they wanted the kid. So for South Carolina to beat the likes of, like I said, Zaga and especially Gonzaga, that's such a blue blood name, and
Mm-hmm.
we feel some type of way about Gonzaga after 2017, man. So it's I'm excited about the future for South Carolina basketball now that Lamont has the NIL to work with. Now that they have a AD that really cares about basketball, because Donati is a basketball guy. I can confirm that 100%.
100%.
So it's just it's fresh, it's nice to have. So we'll see where we end up with the portal. Like I said, there's a bunch of names still out there that we're still looking at. A lot of names we're still contacting. A Miles Tate could be another name to watch out for. A guy that originally should have been a Gamecock to begin with. So we'll keep an eye out. On that right there. So we'll see how that goes. Now, Q, we'll go ahead and we'll move it to the football side of things. Before we get into the spring practice train, I was about to say spring training, the spring practice, and NFL and everything else like that. I want to go ahead and give a shout out to Coastal Carolina and Chance Miller. Q, did you see what Coastal Carolina and Chance Miller is doing for football season this year?
Yeah, it's pretty smart, bro. Pretty smart. Free concessions all football season is pretty good.
All football season, and they're like, there's no limit. You can get as much you want. The family. I'm like, this is crazy. Like, you look at it, free concessions.
Yeah, if I'm already going
to be sold out.
Well, they probably will, because when you're paying for the tickets and now the concessions are free, like it changes the game. Now people will be like, you know what, that's fine. I'll pay the money for the tickets because at least I know I can eat whatever I want, however much I want. So it'll work itself out. I think that was a very smart, bold move for Chance and them.
It's the first time ever being done that I've seen. The first time, and I looked it up a little bit more, and I have never seen a college football program do this.
Correct.
So congratulations to Chance Miller. We love Chance. I mean, wish him the best since he was at South Carolina, and he's just a great guy, awesome family. I can't say enough about him. Super nice guy. So hope he does well at Coastal. Hope he does well over there, and that's
Agreed.
just a really cool stuff, man. Really cool idea. So incredible. Absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome. Today is April 1st. It is April Fool's Day. And, I'm not posting anything April Fool's related, but the media team had never stopped them from getting down from doing a little April foolery, right? I don't know if you all seen the video yet, but a mannequin, they have mannequins set up around the facility, around the ops building.
Mm-hmm.
And, they switched them out today for one of the players. I don't know who that was.
I think it was Dindy. I think it was Dindy.
Was it Dindy?
I think it was Dindy.
Well, all right. So you had Dindy, I guess, dressed up like a mannequin. They thought everybody was a mannequin, right? They walked by him, and as a mannequin, it's gonna stand there. You just walk by him thinking nothing of it. Well, he comes to life and starts scaring people, and it's really good, man. Especially the reactions from Lenora Sellers. Looks like he's grabbing a football and running back. That was good. Kind of getting out of the pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And then Dylan Stewart straight up stiff arming him.
Yep.
Dylan was not phased. Not phased.
Then you got Jalen Kilgore.
Oh, they got Jalen so good.
They got Jalen.
I can't wait when we get Jalen on the show to talk about that.
Yeah.
Like Jalen, they got you. Michael Smith, that's another one that
was hilarious. Michael just stood there, was like it was like Michael's finna power up or something, man. It was crazy. It's crazy. But that was good stuff, man. That was good stuff.
That was great. That was great. Now, on to some other things, some not so good news, but we have some injury updates. But Jaylen Brown is going to miss the rest of spring. Q, you and I have been high on him. I know you've been really big on Jaylen Brown coming into the spring, so that's unfortunate. And then Nick Sharp. So we'll see. We'll ultimately see where that goes on that. But yeah.
Look who just joins us, bro. Face reveal.
Face reveal.
What's up? Look, man. Long story short, I texted y'all something that y'all have not talked about yet. Okay, we need to discuss how South Carolina is currently losing Game 7 of of their World Series to a 14-15 Presbyterian.
Jesus
Okay?
Christ, man. Oh my God. We have talked about it, bro. We've talked about it.
What is going on?
Well, it changed.
Game
We're
seven.
up 2-1 now. And Petrie
Okay.
just sent a bomb. Petrie just launched one. Petrie
Thank
just
God.
launched one.
Thank God for Ethan Petrie, okay? Thank God for
Petrie
Ethan
just
Petrie.
launched one, bro. He launched one to what's his name, bro? The the TK guy.
Oh,
Sam.
Yeah,
yeah,
he
that guy.
launched one to Sam.
But, hey, look. I've been doing some digging, okay? Long story short, me and a fellow former Welcome Home podcast colleague of ours, Gamecock Dave, we are getting together and we are getting the torpedo bats made for the baseball team. So
That sounds good. I'm glad.
There we
So
go.
Gamecock Dave is sick of it, and now he's coming back, and he's putting his stamp on it too.
yeah, so we are look, I know a couple people. Okay, he's got the money and the charisma. So yeah, we're gonna get these things put together. Okay, because that is the only way that half of these guys will be able to hit a fucking ball.
I respect it. We're looking forward to it.
Understand? Yeah.
We're looking forward to it.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
twice.
I came out here to put some air in the tires. I'm going to grab some Waffle House, okay, because the old lady wants it. So there we go. I just wanted to chime in because I've been listening and I haven't heard y'all talk about what I sent y'all a text about. So I had to come in here, interrupt the whole thing, and just chime in. So here we are.
Well, Petrie sends a bomb, so we're up
Hell,
2-1.
We might win Game 7 of our World Series against a 14-15 Presbyterian.
It's a possibility. It is now a possibility.
Welcome to Gamecock baseball in 2025. We used to go to actual World Series, and now our Game 7 World Series is Presbyterian.
There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, sin. Ladies and gentlemen, sin. Ladies and freaking gentlemen.
Long story short, we need to hire Will Coggins. That is the guy. You hire Will Coggins, Omaha. We're back.
I like it.
We're back. We back.
All right. I'm gonna go and get the old lady some Waffle House, so I don't
Die.
have to sleep on the couch. So
There you go. There you go.
Yep.
All right, brother.
See you later.
All right.
A sin, everybody. You know that. But
sin, everyone. You never know. You never
so
know who's gonna pop up next.
I will say, I hated the Jaylen Brown news. Only reason why I'm okay is because I think a lot of people are underestimating our depth, and I think this is the time to. And I told people I was going to address a lot of things, so I think it's time for you guys to know, what's really going on. Desmond Umanzulu quietly has had a tremendous spring. I cannot express to you how tremendous his spring has been. Right now, you're looking at a rotation of Dylan Stewart, Desmond Umanzulu, Brian Thomas, Jaylen Brown, JT Gear. Those are your main guys that you're really hearing about. I've heard Dodd has done really well. A fan of the pod, he's done really well in spring, but at the end of the day, it's still a freshman. And so all that to say, we actually have some solid depth at the defensive end. And so I want to also address defensive tackle. So a lot of people aren't high on the defensive tackle line. You don't know a lot of guys. But I will tell you this right now. Every day that we continue is every day Xavier Hardy is getting better. And every day he gets better. Every day, I promise you're going to find out why we wanted him out of high school so bad. I promise you're going to find that out. Nick Barrett has taken the next step. Goodwine has taken the next step. I think there's still 2 or 3 more steps they have to take. Yes, but do I think they are are in a spot where I am comfortable feeling like, hey, we had to play today, we could actually win a game? Absolutely. I think everybody is in a solid spot with that. The issue I'm having is fans want instant results. This is why we have spring. You're not going to get instant results like that. Hell, half of y'all didn't know what we had last year. You really didn't know what we had in Demetrius Knight last year. You didn't know what we had in Dylan Stewart last year. You knew he was good, but good does not always translate to you being on the field and being able to produce like he produced last year. A lot of y'all didn't know what Cal Kennard was going to be able to do. You guys have got to understand these things take time. These things take a lot. Fred J.R. Johnson has had a great spring. I really think this is his time for him to step up as a sophomore and be ready for this bad boy. Jerron Willis has had a fantastic spring. You guys have got to understand this is what we need. Tree Babalade having a fantastic spring. You lose Nick Sharp, but Tree Babalade's coming along. Trayvon Baugh is coming along. Boaz Stanley is coming along. You got these guys. Marquis Anderson's taking snaps at center now, which is something, if you go back, that's something I thought Marquis would be fantastic at when he came out of high school. Mm-hmm. So you got these guys and you got things that are going. You guys have got to understand. You already have a dynamic quarterback who's been through the ringer, and he's back. Nick Harbor is spending the entire time there in the facility going through spring. That helps out a ton. Those freshman wide receivers are doing a great job. Jesus Christ. Sorry, y'all. I just saw the stupidest fielding I've ever seen in my life. A freaking regular single just turned into a double. It's disgusting. So, but you have so many different things going for this team at the present moment. I am at a point that I feel very confident in what we have. Because with Nick Sharp going down, we're still building depth. We're still building everything we need to build. And I'm happy about that. Wide receiver wise, I got asked this question earlier, so I will definitely help you out with this one, guys. Wide receiver wise, I am 110% happy. Nick Harbor has shown great signs. You have had a lot of step up from Brian Rowe. Mazio Bennett has been extremely good this offseason. Jared Brown has been great. You have a lot of guys that are ready to and able to step up and be what we need them to be. And that's what the biggest thing is for my personal standpoint when it comes to the football side of things. Another thing is you have Peyton Williams, who has done a really good job. Boosie has done a good job this spring. And you also have had Kelvin Hunter come up and step up. Jalewis Solomon is another thing. And as you heard today, Shane has told you, Bakari Swain should be back soon. I told y'all. A lot of things you just kind of got to just let the thing ride out. It's one of those things, wake up call. I'm glad he got the wake up call. Let's get it done.
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta play school. Unfortunately, I know you don't want to, but sometimes you got to. Yeah.
So you got to do what you have to do. But I feel really good about what's coming out of spring. I do still think they'll hit the portal, but I think they'll hit the portal for defensive tackle if they do anything. And I think wide receiver wise, we should be fine this year. That's me being honest.
Yeah. I do agree. Like I said, I feel like Mike Furry knows what he's doing. I mean, he simply does. He got a lot out of a little last year, and as you have a Nick Harbor that is continuing to work and to get stronger and better and understanding the game more. I mean, look, I tell you what, man, when he was like, "Oh, I had to, I got contacts that helped me with the game," I'm like, "You've got to be kidding me, man!" Like, what is it with this football team and their vision? Like, can we get an optometrist in there, and do some?
And they probably will.
Test or something?
They probably will get an optometrist, man. They got to do something.
What are we doing?
We got to do something.
What are we doing?
We got to do something, but I will say I am very pleased with what I've heard out of their running back room as well. They're saying there's a
Well,
lot that has been there when it comes to that room, and I'm extremely excited about that room as well. They've also said Oscar Attaway has done well. Faison has done a great job. Julius Howell has come along well. You have a lot of guys stepping up, and the biggest thing is make sure you're good in pass protection. You're doing what you need to do there. We still don't have a backup quarterback right now, uh, but I think there's a lot of competition. Carter Woods has done a great job. Aaron Nolan has an arm on him. Dear God, that man has an arm on him. That is
he does.
insane how good his arm is, and I am excited to see what he's able to do if he's able to get the reins on that backup quarterback. Because if something happens and we need to bring him in, we need to have the confidence that he's going to be able to make something happen. Carter Woods' arm is very good too. I think a lot of people are underestimating how good Carter Woods' arm is. He's a little more athletic than a lot of people would expect, but I for one am going to be excited to see that come time for us to come down there for the spring game. I'm for one am excited about that.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. Q, I do need to do some breaking news real quick. Cam Scott has entered the transfer portal.
There it
Cam
is.
Scott, yeah,
There it is.
FSC
As I
defensive
stated
end.
before, it was a back and forth situation. We didn't know what was going to happen with it, but uh, there it is.
Yeah, and you really didn't know because Cam Scott literally just signed, and I'm not saying like he literally signed last week a new NIL deal with I believe it was Fifth and Third Bank. So
Hmm.
very interesting, and I don't know, as far as this goes with these kids, entering the portal and they're just signing these new NIL deals. Obviously, there's going to be null and void now, but it's like I don't get it. I don't get it. But if Cam Scott was not good, this season. And obviously, if you're not, Lamont's going to put you on the court if you're ready, man.
Oh,
I'm
for
sorry,
sure.
Lamont's going to put you on the court if you're ready, and
Oh, for sure.
he wasn't
Oh, for
ready.
sure. Oh, for sure. And I mean, the
Wasn't
adjustment to
ready.
college is no joke. I'm a huge fan of Cam Scott. I think he's a really good player. I think he's a really good kid, and I think he's gonna find himself a home where he's gonna thrive. I think he's gonna thrive and do well. So, but I understand where Lamont's head is. Lamont's trying to win now. Lamont wants to get back to that tournament. So you got to be ready to
Yeah,
contribute. Got to be ready to
yeah,
contribute.
yeah. Absolutely. So that's breaking news. Cam Scott officially enters the transfer portal.
Hmm.
So running it back to football though. This team continues to work hard. We saw we saw a tidbit of a clip of Lenore Sellers on special teams today. So that was that was interesting.
Yeah.
He'll do anything. These guys they'll do anything they need to. But you talk
That's
about the
what
running
happens when
back
you're
position.
close. That's when
Yeah.
you're
Oh yeah.
close. When I told y'all last year, this team gets close to the playoffs, it's going to do something different to you. Getting that close to the playoffs is going to do something different to you. It's going to do something different to you. So I really am looking forward to seeing what we're going to be able to do when you have a situation like this. I am.
Yeah.
I'm extremely excited to see what's going to happen with that.
Yeah, likewise. And talking about the running backs, man, running back group. I believe maybe it was Bruce Feldman or one of those guys out there that taught about Rizal Faison and said that he's the second best transfer portal running back that came out this year.
Mm,
So a huge testament to him. And people talk about his game. He's like Rocket, maybe a little less speed, but the guy's a bruiser. He'll take you down
hmm.
with him. He'll carry you. He'll take you down with
Hmm.
him. He's going to carry you down 20, 10, 15 yards down the field with you. So
Agreed.
I'm excited about that pickup, man. I talked to Jalen Royals, the wide receiver out of Utah State that is going to the draft this year, and he's going to get drafted probably third, fourth round, something like that, maybe fifth. But that's a kid that was very, very complimentive about what he did on the field, who he was as a person. His father, the same thing, man. Jalen Royals' dad, I talked with him in Mobile as well, and he also talked about what kind of guy that Faison is, and he also knows Shivers, JT Shivers. So that was really cool there. So
Hey,
he
listen,
knows old
and that's
Shivers.
another guy. I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all right now. He's gonna play some this year. I can see Shivers playing some,
I can see that.
and I in that right tackle spot is gonna be the one I'm looking at. Is he could get some playing time, man? Because I think you got some guys that are ready to step up now that are pushing for some time. So I think that's gonna be a good season on that offensive line. Teasley's starting to get his guys in there and starting to have what he needs, man, it's getting dangerous in there. So, yeah,
Mhm.
I agree.
Yeah, yeah, it absolutely is. So, like, there's a lot of great things going on with football, man. You know, obviously with football is recruiting, and we're getting into the nitty gritty parts of it, man. We're getting to the nitty gritty parts. We're seeing where the guys are really going to go with South Carolina, and you got a big visitor this weekend out of Samari Smoke
Yes,
Matthews, man.
sir.
Samari back in Columbia after camping. After camping not once but twice now with Jazavian Currency, current Gamecock commits for the 26 class for the safety out of South Point,
Who will
and
also be in town?
who also, yeah. So it's you bring these two together, and they're already building that relationship, the camaraderie, right? Going against the best out there too, by the way,
Mm-hmm.
going out against some of the best players for 26.
Mm-hmm.
So I love it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I'm super stoked what South Carolina is doing in that secondary with against the
Gray just
Victoria
had
Gray.
he has one of the best class. Man, listen here, that man's room is elite. That I understand why Shane is ready to pay him, continue to pay him. It makes all the sense in the world when you have a room like that. Just like with Sterling Lucas, when you have your rooms and you're building your rooms the way they're building them, I'm telling y'all, all you're doing is building a championship level team, and you
Mm-hmm.
need that. You need
Yeah,
that.
you absolutely do.
So I'm excited for that. That was good. This is good stuff. So we do got some recruiting things coming up. We do got some guys that are on the fence about to, looking at commitments and stuff like that. Samari's another one. You never know what's going to happen with him, and when he's going to, pull the trigger and things. But I do think we are looking pretty strong in the recruiting thing. We just slow and steady wins the race. So let's see how it plays out.
Yeah, yeah, we're gonna see how it all plays out. You know, you got a lot of coaches coming up soon with different pressers here. You know, starting to roll in. We're getting close to that time, and for whatever reason, those aren't publicly held for whatever reason. You know, they used to hold them on Gamecocks online, but I guess they don't really do it during the springtime. That's more the summer, getting towards the start of the fall. But as we get information, we'll relay all that. We have our ears to the ground as much as we can. And
Mm-hmm.
hey, look, sometimes they keep some things to the vest, man, close to the vest. Yeah, we found out not really today, but it's been kind of a thing. But Luke Doty, a guy that's been working with the wide receivers, well, he's working with the quarterbacks again. He's out there
Mm-hmm.
working with the quarterbacks. Cutter Woods, Dante Reno, Aaron Nolan, working with them. And it's going to be an interesting quarterback battle for quarterback two. I'm not saying QB. I mean, QB1's already established. We already know that. But QB2 is going to be interesting. I think it is. I think Cutter Woods could edge Aaron Nolan. I'm not saying he's going to beat him, right? Aaron Nolan is a serious talent.
Mm-hmm.
But Cutter Woods is going to come out of battle. I promise you that.
Yep,
Cutter Woods has got something to say.
I do agree with that. I
Yeah,
do agree with that.
Cutter's got something to say. So Q. Well, obviously we'll record on Thursday. We had to move it to Tuesday, but we'll record Thursday to break down that Texas game a little bit more to talk about this Presbyterian
Mm-hmm.
final, whatever that is. Currently, South Carolina leads 2-1 over Presbyterian, and I believe the fourth inning right now. So but we'll talk about that on Thursday, and we'll break down that Mississippi State series. Q, do you have anything else before we wrap up the show, my guy?
Nah, man, just keep your eyes and ears to the ground, y'all. Y'all see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Guys, we appreciate y'all tuning in live, as always, at the Welcome H Pod on X/Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, always live there. Appreciate you guys tuning into the show, on demand at the Welcome H Pod on Apple and Spotify. You can listen and rate and review the show there at the Welcome H Pod on Apple and Spotify every Monday. We record every Thursday. We record, so you can listen to that Tuesday and Friday to get your weekday going or finish your week, right? To finish your week. So,
Mm-hmm.
guys, we appreciate y'all tuning in. As always, we'll see you next time.
Peace. All right, that was a good one.
Yep, solid. Make sure everybody's.
Did we get it on Facebook too?
Okay. Yeah, we did.
So we should have a pretty good audience today.
Yeah, we should. We should. The last show got around on Facebook. I think it was like 1,200 or so. I think something like that. Actually,